Good morning, YouTube. One fish, two fish, ROC. It's officially stupid o'clock in the morning and I am up editing videos. I just wanted to give you a heads up. This is a rather long video, so I will leave timestamps down in the description so that you can skip around a lot easier in the event that you really don't want to watch the entire thing. It's basically all the steps that I took in building the infrastructure for the 40 breeder aquascaping. The final aquascaping will be put in a separate video not too long from now, and I think once you see it you'll understand why I built this the way I did. Anyways, I appreciate any time you spend watching it, and again, thank you for your support and friendship. It means a lot. Alright, we're gonna go get this done and I'm gonna go pass out. So, here's the 40 breeder, basically a blank canvas. Pretty grubby right now. Light shining in it, and I'm gonna go ahead and clean it all up here with some little bit of vinegar, water. We're gonna get ready to start putting this sucker together. Wish me luck. Okay, so what you're looking at is not the biggest pair of googly eyes you've ever seen. It happens to be Black Diamond sandblasting grit. I'm going to go ahead and give this a try for my substrate in this tank that I'm doing. I got it for $7.99 at Tractor Supply. It was a 50-pound bag. I got the medium grit just for kicks. You know, I did a lot of YouTube watching and such, and just for kicks I ran a magnet through it and nothing picked up, you know, nothing strange like that. It feels like sand. It doesn't hurt my hand. I mean, it's no grittier than what sand would be. So I'll go ahead and let that back down in the bucket, and yeah, I guess that does look like googly eyes. Okay, time to pause the video and get on to the next part. Forgive the glare and the goofy lighting, but anyways, I had some leftover lawn edging. Then I thought I would try putting in the tank to act as the divider between the dirt and the perimeter banking of the sandblasting grit to keep them separate, and also so that when you look into the tank all you actually see is the sandblasting grit along the edges and not the dirt. This is 1-inch lawn edging. Like I say, a bunch of extra I just had laying around. Washed it up really well, cut it, tacked it in a couple places here and there. A little bit of silicone, a couple little pieces of Gorilla Tape. I don't think that's going to be a big deal. It's going to be buried under a few inches of substrate. So, sort of an experimental thing, but hey, why not? I'll give it a try, and if it works, great. Somebody else can do it. If it doesn't work, then we'll all know not to do it. Thanks. This is the infrastructure and foundation for the aquascaping that I'm hoping to accomplish in here. So I know I showed previously the borders. This is the blasting material here, held back an inch and a half or so from the tank faces so that it can conceal where the dirt is going to be going. The pillars, if you will, are just chunks of Schedule 80 PVC pipe that I was fortunate enough to have the guys at work go ahead and cut for me. I can cut Schedule 40 here with my cutters, but Schedule 80 is a bit much. It's pretty thick stuff. So I was real happy to be able to repurpose that as well. I also have some borders I've created in the middle here with some of the additional lawn edging. I cut the tabs off. I'm just sort of holding it in place now with a little bit of Gorilla Tape, and I have the pillars tacked in with just a little bit of hot glue so that things don't shift around when I start adding substrate and rocks and things like that. So anyways, hoping that this functions in the way that I'm hoping it will. I guess we see. Alright, time to make mud pies. Actually, it is time to mix up the mineralized topsoil that I have to put in the fish tank. So let me show you what I got. Take a step back. In some of my previous videos that featured the spider wood that I got that from bamaplants.com, and he sells a mineralized topsoil that he makes ahead of time here. So it's basically a topsoil mixed with a pulverized clay. It's a two-part system, and then there is the packs of the potash and the dolomite. Got a mixing bucket here, a spoon, some water. So I'll go ahead and reposition the camera and let's take a look at this and see what it looks like when I open the bag and start mixing this guy up. One moment, I'll be right back. I know this might be a little bright, but I decided to do this with the flash, hopefully to catch a little more detail. The mineralized topsoil kits come in a 5-pound bag. Everything was packaged really, really well. By now you should all know that I'm a package freak here as far as things being waterproof, dirt-proof, whatever. So I'm going to go ahead and get this open, dump some in, and then I'll try to get a close-up to give you an idea of what the consistency of the dry dirt is. So one moment here. I am no Julia Child, by the way, nor will you ever see me on the Food Channel. However, let's give this a shot. All right. I just don't want to get it everywhere. Dump that right down in. I'm going to save a little. Hold on a minute. Let's prep something here to show you close up. As you all know too, when you live in an apartment, you don't have a shop, a garage, a basement, any of those good spaces to do stuff, you kind of make do. Pretty much everything I do gets done in the bathtub. Alright, so close-up of the dirt. Definitely smells like dirt. It has a very fine sand-like consistency. Figured I would show you up close. So we'll go ahead and get that down in here. It comes with instructions. Basically what we'll be doing is mixing roughly, it says 2 cups of water for every 5-pound bag of the soil mix. So I went ahead, got some water out of my goldfish tub, figuring it can't hurt to use some old water. So we'll get that in there. And if this doesn't take any of you back to your childhood, I don't know what will. Alright, we're almost at 2 cups. Alright. Go ahead and get this stirred up. That's another thing. I end up using all my cooking utensils for aquarium projects. I've managed to dedicate a couple of my measuring cups, a bunch of my spoons, my turkey baster, you name it. Yeah. It goes to show you what I prefer to do. I guess I'd rather play with fish tank and aquarium stuff than I would cook. Alright, so we're going to mix this up. You can see how rich and dark it is. Just keep mixing here, get all the dry bits up. It says to mix it to roughly a runny mud pie consistency. That's what we're going to do. We'll just keep mixing. I'm going to be mixing up 2 bags of the stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and pour the second bag in, because this seems a little too runny for me. So let's do that. We'll just bag it right out. Alright, one moment here. Second bag. Ding. Round 2. Put that in here. I'm hoping, they say that the advantage of using a pre-mineralized topsoil is that it shortens the cycling, because a lot of the rinse, dry, repeat process has been done for you ahead of time. Alright, let's see here. Alright, start adding a little bit of water to the mix now, a little at a time, to see what we got here. Yeah. Actually, I have better luck with making mud than I do brownies or cookies. I'll tell you a little fun fact about my cookie baking ability. When I make them, my cookies are far better used as clay pigeons for target shooting. I don't know what it is about me, cookies, brownies, and trying to bake stuff. It just never turns out very well. Soup and pie, yeah, great. Cookies, not so much. All right, so just to show you, here, sorry, it kind of holds its shape. Again, it really feels more like a wet sand. It's a very fine mixture here. Rinse my hand a little bit. I'll just keep stirring. All right, the flash went out. We'll just keep going. Anyways, this is the mixing part, so I'll go ahead and pause it here, and I'll get prepped to show you the next step of when we actually put it in the tank. All right, thanks for watching. We'll be right back. I'm back. I've gone ahead and sprinkled the bottom of the tank with the mixture of the potash and dolomite based on the instructions. So I just give you an idea of what those two little packets does. And it does say you should, still be able to see the bottom of the tank. So I went ahead and tried to distribute it fairly evenly. Just give you an idea what kind of coverage you get. So I'll just do that real quick here. So we are going to be ready to go ahead and start slinging some mud into this thing. Gonna pause this and I'll be right back. Alright YouTube, time to sling some mud. Go ahead and put the bucket right inside here so that I don't get anything hopefully on my furniture or what have you. So I'll just set it on those pillars for just a moment here. And we'll start scooping this, getting it in. According to the instructions, it says roughly you only need about roughly a half-inch layer of the stuff. So that's what we'll start with and see where we go. So I'm just going to spread this around. I don't know how good the lighting is. I guess I'll turn this up too. Maybe that'll show a little better. Sorry for any ridiculous reflections or whatever else. So I'm just going to work this into all the edges here. Definitely smells like mud. Not a bad smell, just a very muddy smell. Alright. I don't know why I'm not good at cooking brownies. I don't know. Maybe I'll have to give it another try. So we're just going to get this worked in and around the supports I have here for the rest of the aquascaping. Work it into the corners. Just a layer of it here. It's definitely a runny mud pie consistency, I can tell you that much. Alright. What I'm going to do is leave the areas inside the columns here pretty much bare, and I'll put the sand down as the main base there as I cover all of the dirt layer. And the reason is, I think if I get any fish, first off, I don't see much of anything growing directly under what I'm going to put there. Number two, if something actually wants to hang out and hide under there and maybe dig a little bit, they've just got some sand in the area as opposed to maybe getting into the dirt. So I'll just pull that away from the columns a bit. Ooh, sorry about that squeaky noise. Now that's like nails on a chalkboard. Ooh, yuck. Alright, and we'll just work this in and around. There we go. Definitely workable. cookable mixture here. Alright. So, okay. That looks pretty good for the moment anyways. So I'll let that sit. And we will repeat on the other side. Hopefully the bucket won't block this too badly. If I end up using all this, then I'll mix a third bag. I just didn't want to overdo it, mix too much, and end up having extra. I figured that didn't make sense. I'll get this little scoop out of here. I thought I was going to need it, but I don't. It doesn't look like it. So, again, another measuring cup from my kitchen collection, now dedicated to the aquarium collection. All right, get this stuff in here. Just spoon it right in. I don't know if any of you guys remember that one cafeteria lady at school, the one, you know, with the ice cream scoop that was in charge of putting those mashed potatoes on your little tray. And you remember how she used to have that wrist action where she could kind of whip it and sling it and it would go right where it needed to go? Yeah, I'm not going to attempt that today with the mud. But this does remind me of that cafeteria lady. So to all you cafeteria ladies out there, I salute you. Again, sorry about the scrapey noises. Just working into the open areas here where I intend to, hopefully, try to plant some things. It does look like I'll need my third bag of it. So that, just to give you an idea, this is the bottom of a 40 breeder, and I will be going through 3 5-pound bags of the mixture. I think that should just do it. No. So I'll go ahead and pause it. I'm going to mix that third batch up. I'm going to get it placed, and then I'll just show you how this ends up before I start the next step of this lovely project here. I got to get this going. All right, I got my fish girl Cassie has fish waiting for me. And if I get caught in any of the frames, I look like you know what today, but that's just how it is when you're slinging mud in the bottom of a fish tank. It's not glamorous. All right. Be back for the next segment. Okay, I've covered the dirt areas with the blasting grit, as you can see, and I'm really happy with how the lawn edging idea has worked out. At least I know there's something pretty solid down in there that'll help keep things banked. Hopefully, you know, I won't do something dumb and over disturb it or anything, but nonetheless, it's going to keep it pretty stable here. You're probably wondering what this is all about here. This is some non-chemically treated weed control mat that I've placed over top of that central transition area that I've created, the trough. And I've gone ahead and used a silver Sharpie and just kind of traced the rough contours of it because I'm going to trim it back just a little bit. And I will show you what I'm going to do with that next. And I hope this works. I really don't know. A lot of this is experimental, you know. Part of my probably designer past coming out, you know, I just always like, oh, you know, what can I do? Try to be detailed. I don't know. Try to think everything over. I tend to treat a lot of things like designing a building, I guess. But anyways, here's what I've got. I'll need to put the phone down and get this trimmed back so I can get this next step all set here, and I'll show you. So I appreciate your sticking along here for the ride. Okay, I've gone ahead and I have the trough completely prepped here and ready to go for the next step. First off, I put roughly, I don't know, a 1/4 inch or so of the blasting grit down on top of the bottom of the tank, and then on top of that is the double layer of the weed mat cut roughly to the contours of the trough, and then the white material above that is a chunk of leftover, I believe it's 100 micron, some such filter fabric that I had used for the outdoor water garden's biofilter when I built that last summer. One really cool thing I found about this hobby is save everything, because yes, you will end up reusing it in a future project. So yeah, you'd never know what you're going to end up reusing. I mean, this is using lawn edging, weed control mat, and that, that material that I had left over from the pond. The Schedule 80 pipe was left over from an outdoor project that I had. So, cool, you know, glad I didn't have to buy anything, and now I can be creative. I'm going to go ahead and set the camera up now on the tripod, so hopefully we can turn this next step into a reality here. So, thanks for sticking with me like you have so far. Let me get her set up. Okay, YouTube, I'm back. I've been fiddling with this for just a little while. As you probably guessed, I'm going to build a form of a creek bed. At least that is my thought. That is what I would like to do. And so what you're looking at, the black line in there, is airline. It's actually a flexible bubbler. We'll see how that works. I mean, if I don't like it, I'll just shut it off. I'm going to valve the line, and if I don't like it, I'll detach it. But for right now, why not? I kind of figured I might go for a little bit of whimsy with this particular aquascaping. There's an awful lot more to come, but this is sort of the first part of it. So I will position the camera and let's finish it. All right, 1 minute. Let me shift this. Okay, I will be glad to have this place back. There is crap everywhere. Alright. Alright, we're positioned. So, now to build the creek. Now to build the creek. I have a bunch of those colored glass pebbles that I'm going to try. And hopefully this will work. Again, just like everything else, it's somewhat experimental for me, especially with me being new to all this. But I just thought this might be fun. So we're just now going to start sprinkling these in. There's another reason why I kind of went for the white filter fabric down in there. I don't know if it'll help the colors pop or not, but I thought, oh, maybe it will. Either way, it does, again, give me a surface I can pull up if this really doesn't work, or I can just bury it with sand. That's the other option. I just fill it in with blasting sand or rocks, or maybe aquarium gravel, a different color of sand. Either way, it'll give me some options if this does not go well. So for now, we're just going to fill this all in. I do suggest that if you buy any of these colored glass rocks, you wash them thoroughly and double check them. Do not buy frosted ones unless the frosted part is actually integral with the glass. I had some in the mix that were frosted, and granted they looked nice until the frosting started coming off, and I thought, nope, can't do. So I'm going to go get some more stones, and we'll keep filling this. Yeah, you definitely want to double check, scratch test the beads, you know, do whatever you have to do to make darn sure that nothing is going to leak into the water as far as a finish. Okay, be right back. We'll see how this turns out. Not really sure. Don't know what to think. Don't know what to expect. We'll see. Maybe the airline won't work. You know, it'll be what it'll be. And at the very least, I will learn, and it will be something that you folks will not want to try or need to try, because I will have worked out the problems. Okay. It is my intention to run the airline over to the corner and run it up straight. I should be able to hide that fairly well with, you know, filter, heater, something of that nature. So that way the valve will be up at this end where I can reach it fairly easily in order to adjust things or shut it off or do whatever it is I may end up doing with this thing. Okay. I anticipate a certain amount of the sand will get mixed in with it. Again, you know, use your imagination. Whimsy, people. This is whimsy. All right. All right. So, that's good enough for the moment. Step back here. Give you an aerial of how this looks. Move in close. Should be fun. I'll be able to make adjustments as I go. Spin this around, sorry. Take this out. Okay. So there is a whimsical creek bed of some sort. Okay, the creek bed is done, so it's time to put the next layer of this aquascaping together before I start filling this with water and just let it run for a while with filters on and so on. I have a lot of equipment placement to figure out and so on, but that can be done while things are running in here. So I'm going to start setting in final bits and pieces here. Okay, there's part one. Second part is, where'd it go? I feel like losing half your aquascaping. Ah, here we go. As I said, there's just way too much stuff in here. Okay. So I imagine this shows you all what I'm trying to do here. And that is there. I don't know how well you can see what's going on, but we have that for the moment. And we'll finish that off with redstone here. Just have to adjust this a little bit. This took a lot of mock-ups and tries just to get things set. So yeah, it's a bridge over the creek. I'm going to move the camera down now so you can see sort of a level view of it. This is my intention. I'm really hoping this works. If not, again, it'll be a big lesson, and if I have to take it apart and put something back in there, I can do that. But this is the foundation basis for the aquascaping. Okay, YouTube, we're back. We're back. We're filling the tank. So far, so good. Sorry about the glare, and I know the lighting is just awful. I'm just using a simple task light for now until I get the actual lighting set up. So far, so good. I will be going ahead and disguising the front part of the PVC with some rocks and things, and I think by the time I plant some, I don't know, dwarf sage or something in the dirted areas, hopefully that'll help disguise some of this too. I know it's going to take some patience to wait for things to take, but between that and stones and rocks and things, I think I can pretty much disguise whatever I need to disguise. As you can see, I am experiencing a certain amount of floating material. But that's fine. I know that happens a lot with sand as well. So I'll just give it time to settle, and whatever doesn't settle, I will skim off the top with a net. But again, having read about this and, you know, hearing what other people have to say about it, I think it'll be fine. I'll be able to just whisk things away. Again, I know, you know, you get livestock in there, things are going to shake up the substrate and so on, but that's all right. I anticipate a certain amount of that, and some of that will probably be part of just maintaining things. Also, I do have plans for the structures that are going to go on top of these 2 rock islands, and that will take up some space as well. So I'll go ahead and let this finish filling. I know you don't need to sit here for 20 minutes watching this fill, but I wanted to give you an idea how this is going to look. I think it's going to look pretty good. And at the very least, if it looks good for the first week or 2, once I get the plants in and then everything falls apart, well, at least it looked good for 2 weeks. Gotta look at it that way. Okay, I'm going to take a step back for now, and I'll come back to you with the next portion. Alright, YouTube, I'm back. As you can see, I have the tank full, and at least for the moment, the air bubbler under the creek bed is working. I have 2 means of control where that's concerned. Number 1, the air pump that it's hooked to is adjustable, and number 2, I have the airline valved. So again, if I need to shut it down or do maintenance or do whatever, I can do that, I think, with relative ease. But so far, so good. That's just sort of a moderate flow. I'll come in a little closer, sorry for reflections and such. But it's pretty much what I wanted it to do. It'll help obviously aerate the tank up through the center there, and it'll be fun to see the fish going through that. And it agitates the surface fairly well, so by the time I get a couple of other skimmer and filters and things on there, I think we'll be doing okay. So, my bubbling creek with the bridge. So that is the base. That is the infrastructure, the foundation, and the base layer of what I'm going to try to get put together here. So next step is to add the driftwood parts and get some equipment in proper location, get it running, and then I can get some plants, get this thing planted, and we can be on our way here. I appreciate your sticking around for all of this. I know it was a lot of information, a lot of droning on and on, but I appreciate it. Thank you. If anybody has any commentary, advice, feel free to put it in the comments. I do realize that the creek may be a problem, a potential problem as far as picking up particles or whatever, but again, I'm okay with using a turkey baster or shifting that around now and again. I understand that's going to be part of having the glass beads in there. So once again, I'll say thanks and goodbye.